Rocket. Zoom! Rocket ran around so fast you would only catch a glimpse of fur as the cat ran up the stairs, down the stairs and round the house. Being as fast as a rocket, Rocket hardly ever sat still and certainly suited the name. Even at night when the house was fast asleep, Rocket would hear a noise and be off, looking for what was causing it. Rocket was a very fluffy forest cat with long smoky grey fur and a white lion's mane. Rocket lived on the edge of a big forest with two boys who could always find lots of places to have fun and explore. Rocket was happy and loved, but things had not always been this good. Settling down to rest one evening, Rocket remembered when life was so much different. "Get that darn cat out of here!" shouted the grumpy lady with a cigarette hanging out of the side of her mouth. "I don't want to see it in this house ever again." "But Mum, I love Rocket," whispered the little girl, holding her cat tightly. "Don't argue with me, child. Do as I tell you and get it out!" The little girl reluctantly carried Rocket outside. She bent down and placed the sad cat onto the street. Stroking Rocket's head, she said, "I'm sorry, Rocket, but I have to do what my mum says. She has never liked cats. I knew that when I brought you home, but I thought she would let you stay as you're so cute." Standing up, the little girl looked down at her adorable cat. "Goodbye, Rocket. I hope you find a new home soon with someone who will love you as much as I do." The little girl went back into the house and, after one last look at Rocket, she closed the door. Rocket walked away from the house and headed towards the forest, which was not far from this neighbourhood. Life had not been easy for this poor cat, but surely that had to change soon. As Rocket started walking into the forest, a voice said, "Hello!" Rocket looked around, wondering who was speaking. "I'm over here by the fallen tree," said the voice. Rocket looked over towards the fallen tree and saw a large white cat peering over it. Now remember that animals can't talk like you and me, but they can communicate with their minds. Rocket walked nearer to the white cat. "Hello," said Rocket. "What are you doing?" The white cat jumped up onto the fallen tree and looked down at Rocket. "I'm looking for something fun to do. What are you doing?" Rocket gazed up at the white cat and thought how big he looked. "I've just been kicked out of my home. The lady who lives there doesn't like cats and told the little girl, who seemed to love me, to get rid of me." "That's a mean thing to do," the white cat said as he jumped off the fallen tree and stood next to Rocket. "Yes, I think so too. But it's not the first time I've lost my home," Rocket said sadly. "I used to live with lots of other cats in a big house where I was born. An old lady who looked after us called me Rocket one day when I was running around the house so fast as I tried to get away from a big black cat. He was a bully and used to boss all the cats around. Anyway, I wouldn't put up with that, so he would chase me. I would run so fast so that he would get very tired. Then he would fall asleep for hours and leave me and all the other cats alone." "So why couldn't you stay there?" the white cat asked, sitting down in front of Rocket. Rocket sat down too and replied, "One day, the old lady fell over some of the kittens and broke something. She was in a lot of pain and people came and took her away to make her better. Well, they left the door wide open and lots of the cats ran outside and I followed them. They ran in different directions and suddenly I was all alone. I wandered around the streets and a little boy found me. He took me home with him, but his dad didn't want a smelly cat in the house. That night when the boy was asleep, the man drove me to a park and threw me out of the car. That's where the little girl found me." "Oh, that's so sad," the white cat said, thankful that he lived with a loving family. "Yes, I suppose it is," Rocket said, thinking about it. But it was fun living with all the cats, even though some of them were not very nice at times. Well, I'm very pleased to meet you, Rocket. My name is Stephen. I live just down the road, but I come up here to play in the forest. Come on, let's go and have some fun. The new friends started walking deeper amongst the trees. What's the highest tree you've ever climbed? Asked Stephen. I've never climbed a tree before, Rocket said, looking around and thinking that he'd never seen such tall trees up until now. What? Exclaimed Stephen. A boy cat who has never climbed a tree before? Well, we have to change that right this minute. I'll race you up that tree over there. And Stephen ran ahead and straight up the trunk of the biggest tree Rocket had ever seen. Come on, Rocket, you're so slow. I'm nearly at the top. I thought you were fast at everything you do. I am, answered Rocket, carefully climbing the tree. This is my first time climbing. Next time I'll be so fast you won't see me for dust. Rocket reached a branch near Stephen. Wow, what a great view up here, Rocket said, looking around. Yes, said Stephen, you can see everything up here. I often climb a tree just to look at what's going on in the forest below. Wait, exclaimed Rocket. Did you hear that noise? They listened. The sounds of rustling leaves and twigs being snapped could be heard. Stephen looked around. Oh no, he said. I can see a big bear coming straight towards us. Good thing we're up in this tree out of his way. Stay still and he won't know we're here. The cats watched as the bear stopped at the bottom of the tree they were hiding in. He looked around and started sniffing the air with his big bare nose. Rocket looked at Stephen, feeling very scared. The bear was so huge, the biggest animal Rocket had ever seen. The bear looked up into the tree. It's no good hiding. I can still smell you, he said in a big, gruff voice. We aren't hiding, said Stephen, still hiding amongst the leaves on the tree. What are you doing then? Asked the bear as he started to push the tree with his paws. I can't see you. Stephen went to answer the bear, but Rocket tried to tell him to be quiet. Stephen took no notice of Rocket and said to the bear, We are looking for food. Oh, so there's two of you up there, the bear growled, seemingly frustrated that he couldn't see the animals. Yes, I'm up here with my friend Rocket, Stephen announced. Rocket was flabbergasted that Stephen was sharing such information and nearly fell out of the tree in shock. The bear walked his paws up the tree and started pushing the leaves apart as he searched for his prey. Unexpectedly, Stephen winked at Rocket and then jumped down from the tree, landing on the bear's big nose. This took the bear by surprise, and he fell backwards as he grabbed the cat between his large paws. Hey, not so tight, squealed Stephen. Oh, I'm sorry, apologised the bear, letting go of Stephen and sitting up. Rocket watched all of this from up in the tree and wondered what was happening. Why hadn't the bear eaten Stephen? Puzzled, Rocket continued watching from the safety of the tree. You don't know your own strength, Bertie, said Stephen, laughing. Give me a gentle bear hug. To Rocket's astonishment, Bertie the bear gave Stephen a very gentle bear hug. After a minute, Bertie let the cat go and asked, So who's your friend then, Stephen? Stephen looked up at the tree and shouted, Come down, Rocket. Bertie won't hurt you. He's a big, soft teddy bear. Noticing that Stephen was not at all scared by the bear, Rocket very carefully climbed down the tree. Hello, said Bertie, in as gentle a voice as he could so as not to scare Rocket. Any friend of Stephen's is a friend of mine. Nice to meet you. Hello, nice to meet you too, I think, stammered Rocket, feeling only slightly nervous now. Bertie and I have been friends for years, Stephen explained. One day he saved me from a very angry and hungry wolf, which I'll be forever grateful for. Sorry we tricked you, Rocket. That's okay. I wasn't scared at all, Rocket answered, hoping he sounded convincing. Well, I haven't got time to chat today, said Bertie. I need to get going. I hope to see you both again soon, and we can chat longer then. The cat said goodbye and watched Bertie the bear as he walked away deeper into the forest. I should be getting home too, said Stephen. What are you going to do? He asked Rocket. Oh, I'll be fine here for a while, answered Rocket, looking around for a spot to rest in. I don't feel too good at the moment. I think maybe tree climbing is not for me. I'll just lie down here for a few minutes and take a nap. Hopefully you will feel better after that, said Stephen, feeling slightly concerned. Are you sure you'll be okay on your own? Yes, I'm sure, said Rocket, curling up on a pile of leaves under a tree. I just need some rest. You go and I'll see you another day. Stephen slowly walked off, but looked back a few times until eventually he couldn't see Rocket anymore. Rocket had unusual tummy pains and was convinced they would pass after a sleep. Climbing up and down that tree was hard work, even for a cat. Rocket was dreaming about being loved and cared for, when suddenly the dream was interrupted by a noise. Rocket looked up and saw two faces staring down at him. He's alive, Mum, he's alive, the two boys shouted together. Can we take him home, Mum, please? He looks so sad and lonely. Yes, we can, their mum said, taking a closer look at the cat. He doesn't look very well, though. Maybe some warmth and food will help. But you can't keep him, as he may belong to someone. Let's get him home and I'll start to ask around. Look, Mum, he's wearing a collar with a metal disc on it. The eldest boy read the words on the disc. My name is Rocket. That's a great name for a boy, Mum, don't you think? Yes, it is, she replied, smiling at the little things her boys enjoyed. The boys took turns to carry the cat home and then fed him some warm milk. After drinking a mouthful or two, Rocket wandered off to explore the house. The boys started to follow, but their mum said, Leave him go. He looks exhausted and probably just needs to adjust to being here. Now don't get too attached to him. I've put a message out on social media and informed the local vets so someone could claim him at any moment. He's such a cute cat, Mum, said the youngest boy. I know, she replied gently. We'll get a cat one day. Now why don't you and your brother watch some TV for a while before dinner? The house was quiet except for the sound of the television. Meow, meow. That's Rocket, said the eldest boy. I wonder what's wrong. Let's go and find out, said his mum, and the three of them went to find the cat. Mum, Rocket's in here, announced the youngest boy. Look! And he pointed to the floor by the bottom of his bed. Rocket was curled up on some dirty clothes, looking up at the boy. But Rocket was not alone. There were two little kittens there too. So Rocket was not a boy cat after all, but a cute little girl cat. Nobody came forward to claim Rocket, so the boys adopted him. Sorry, I should say her. Also, after some gentle persuasion and promising to do their homework on time, the boys convinced their mum to keep the kittens too. They all lived happily together and spent many hours exploring and having fun in the forest. Stephen joined them most days, and even Bertie the bear paid a visit now and again. Rocket had all the love and attention she had only ever dreamt about before, and was thankful every day for her wonderful life with her very special family. The end.